Sports is a multi-trillion-dollar business. Events like the Super Bowl, Champions League or the Grand Slams generate more annual revenue than the entire country of Italy. Triathlon though, it is more like the San Marino of the sport world. A very small but beautiful part with only a fraction of the generated revenue compared to the big guns. But all of triathlon? Well, no. A small company called the T100 is almost solely responsible for a massive increase in prize money, largely thanks to a group of investors. In 2025 they made another round for even more outside money, and seemingly it worked out quite well, because in December of 2025 they made their plans for a huge world tour public. If you want to know more about that, then check out the video I already made on my channel, but in short, many more races taking over the WTCS series while further intensifying their cooperation with World Triathlon and some other things. In December they promised us a lot more information in the beginning of 2026, and just a few days ago they announced something that I think nobody expected. The PTO announced that they bought a majority share in the Challenge family company. This means that from 2027 onwards, Challenge family and all its races will be incorporated into the newly formed Triathlon World Tour. But why is this move such a big deal? For years, Challenge family has been one of the cornerstones of triathlon, with 35 races in 2026. With the acquisition of World Triathlon in December and Challenge family now, the PTO is building for something huge. And they need to if they want to put on the promised 100 races in 2027. In 2026 they will put on 10 races. Increasing the number of races by 900% should be almost impossible when doing it from scratch. But through integrating World Triathlon and Challenge family, the T100 not only gets the races that already exist, they also get a huge amount of know-how when it comes to setting up races all over the world. This number of races is obviously a huge logistical challenge, and the team that organizes 10 races can't just go and organize 90 more. So you have two options. Create a completely new team that starts to organize these races from scratch while having no margin for error and very little time to get to know the entire system of Triathlon World Tour, or get an already existing team which has a great track record of helping organize these events. The decision seems easy, but there is even an added bonus. The races World Triathlon and Challenge already have in place won't just disappear. To the already existing 90-100 races, we add 18 Triathlon World Cups, 11 WTCS events and the 35 Challenge family races, and suddenly the PTO have 73 races in their repertoire and only need 20 to 30 new races, which is a huge relief for them and gets them a very good baseline almost a year before the Triathlon World Tour is actually starting. If all of the events actually come over to the PTO is not known, but most likely they will. With one exception though. The Challenge Roth. The Challenge Roth is not part of the Challenge family GmbH, even though they share a name and a label. Since 2013, Challenge Roth is an independent race organized by the Walchshöfer family and will therefore not be part of the new Triathlon World Tour. The most famous long distance race in Europe will stay independent. But what about the other long distances? So far we have only heard about the T50 and the T100. With Challenge there are also a few events like the Challenge Serban-Nias or the Sail Challenge Quebec, which offer long distance racing. The PTO now has two options. If they want to compete with Ironman at some point in the future, they need to be able to offer long distance racing, including designated world championships, and starting with just a few long distance races per year might be a great way to slowly ease into a completely new part of triathlon for the PTO. Another option is to keep the long distance races under the old Challenge family label. This would help to keep Challenge alive, as it has been a big part in triathlon for more than 2 decades. It would be quite sad to see the Challenge name just disappear apart from Roth, because there is a lot of tradition behind the name of one of triathlon's biggest race organizers in history. There are obviously still a lot of questions that remain and that the PTO has promised to answer at some point in the 2026 season, so if you want to stay updated on all the latest developments in the sport of triathlon, consider subscribing, because I will regularly update on the situation and every news coming out. But for now though, I will see you soon. Bye bye.